What's up, guys? I'm Josh Mosiman. Welcome to This Week in MXA, presented by O'Neill Racing. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're at Glen Helen. This is like our office, pretty much. This is our studio right now, and we just got done shooting some tested videos. Stay tuned to our YouTube channel for those. Right now, though, we're gonna talk about the upcoming Super Duper Motocross race this weekend at the LA Coliseum. Let's get into it. The first ever Supercross race was held inside the LA Coliseum back in 1972, and now we're going back there for the first time since 1998. But most people remember this race for Brian Deegan ghost riding his 125 off the finish line when he won this race in 1997 in the 125 class. It was an all-out battle, and Brian Deegan got the first win of his career on a 125 as a privateer. He ghost rode his bike off the finish line, and obviously, I think that was one of the jump-starting moments of his career that really put his name on the map. Now we have it lining up where Haiden Deegan, Factory Star Racing Yamaha rider, has a chance to win the first ever Super Motocross Championship in the 250 class, coming into the Super Motocross Finale at the LA Coliseum. Stars are lining up. I hope we see a ghost ride. I think that would be so awesome to see. I know there's definitely some rules with the AMA trying to point people to not do that ever again, but man, we got to see Haiden Deegan do something if he wins this weekend. However, Hunter Lawrence is not going to make it easy on him. We saw last weekend in Chicagoland at the Chicagoland Speedway, Hunter Lawrence was on fire. He went 1-1 in the 250 class, but Joe Shimoda did not make it easy on him. In the second moto, Joe was out front, and he was honestly holding his own until he did have a bike malfunction. I personally don't have any insight on what happened. He was able to finish out the race strong, but he did ultimately let Hunter Lawrence go by, and that's what allowed Hunter to go 1-1 and completely rebound after struggling at Charlotte the weekend prior. Next, talking about the 450 class, it was pretty wild to see Jett Lawrence actually wave by Ken Roczen to win the second moto. Jett was on fire, easily winning the first moto, but Ken picked it up a notch in that second moto at the Chicagoland Speedway, and it was also awesome to see. And it was honestly kind of funny to hear Ricky Carmichael talk on the broadcast that Ken Roczen would be fast at the beginning and then fade as the race went on. And honestly, I can't blame Ricky. I might have said the same thing if I was on TV, because that has been a character trait for Ken Roczen in the past. Ken Roczen completely shut that down in Moto2 at Chicagoland. He held it on strong all the way to the finish, so much so that Jett Lawrence was willing to let him win the race. I guarantee you that'll probably be the last time that Jett Lawrence ever waves another rider by. It honestly was a bummer to see. It was interesting talking point, obviously, for us right now on YouTube, but it's a bummer for the fans who came there to witness a race, and ultimately they didn't get to see the battle go down to the checker flag between the two of them. Jett Lawrence said he thought that if he let Ken Roczen win the moto, that would help Ken Roczen get second overall, and that would bump Chase back to third overall, and that would earn more points for Jett and a bigger gap between them going into, or actually a closer gap between them going into the finale. However, Ken Roczen was already on track to get second overall. Chase Sexton already on track to get third overall. So Ken Roczen, whether he finished second or first, it didn't change anything in the point standings, and it ultimately turned out to be nothing for Jett Lawrence, no benefit. Only people are bummed that he let Ken Roczen by. So very interesting stuff to talk about, fun to analyze after the fact. Obviously, it's difficult for Jett Lawrence to do math while he's riding. I totally understand that, and it makes for an interesting talking points. Going into this weekend, Chase Sexton still has the championship points lead, but it's all winner take all. Jett Lawrence and Chase Sexton are so close, and the points are tripled now to where any rider can win. Ken Roczen, though, there does have to be some special map for him to win this weekend. If Ken wins the Super Motocross overall at the LA Coliseum and Chase Sexton gets second, Chase will still win the championship by 1 point. However, if Ken Roczen wins, Jett Lawrence finishes second, that would give Ken Roczen the championship. But between Chase and Jett, it's winner take all, and those three riders are the only ones that can take home the $1 million this weekend. Talking about the 250 class from Chicagoland Speedway and the point standings heading into LA this weekend, there are now 3 riders that can win the $500,000 that are up for grabs for the champion in the 250 class. Hunter Lawrence has the points lead now. He gained it last weekend after he got the win. Joe Shimoda and Haiden Deegan, they were tied. They both had the points lead last weekend, both shared the red plate. They both lost it. And Joe Shimoda, he would have the points lead if he did hold off Hunter Lawrence in that second moto, but second place gave him second overall and second in the championship. However, the championship is so close and there are triple points up for grabs this weekend. What does triple points mean? Basically, you give 25 points out for the overall winner of a standard race. Well, now that it's triple points this weekend, that means they're giving out 75 points. That's a 9-point gap. Well, that means Haiden Deegan, even though he's 7 points behind Hunter Lawrence in the championship, if he wins the championship this weekend, and that makes it a winner-take-all. Honestly, it's very confusing adding up the points, where it was single amount of points at Charlotte, double points at Chicago, and now triple points at LA. It's very confusing. It's hard for motocross fans to comprehend. I don't blame you. But it does make it more exciting for the championship, and it does make it a winner-take-all at the end. The biggest topic of the last 2 races has been the tracks. First round at Charlotte, more motocross than people expected. Last weekend in Chicagoland, very motocrossy. Guys were running motocross suspension out there. There was no rhythm sections. The jumps were, yeah, maybe steep, but ultimately they were very motocross-like, and you were able to use motocross suspension. This weekend, we got guys who want more supercross, namely Chase Sexton. He did well at the first round. He struggled with the outdoor high-speed sections last weekend. He said his suspension was too stiff for it. Jett Lawrence, he went with motocross suspension. Long story short, Chase Sexton's the Supercross champion. Jett Lawrence is the outdoor champion. Chase wants Supercross this weekend. Jett, we all know he wants more motocross, but ultimately it's going to come down to the best of all, and I'm excited to see who can take it this weekend. Taking a preview at the track, big sand section at LA Coliseum. However, I do have to warn you guys, there was a huge S section of sand last weekend on the track map for Chicagoland, and they chopped it to maybe a quarter of the size of what it should have been according to the track map. So yes, these track maps are awesome to see, but they aren't always exactly what we'll see on the race weekend. I personally hope it's not a complete sand section like the track map shows, because that's just chaos for the riders. Last weekend, I think the sand section was perfect. It was deep. It made for some big time to be gained and big time to be lost in there as riders went down and as riders buried themselves in the sand. But it wasn't so long that it ruined the whole race. You were still able to have close battles through there. It wasn't one line, and that was really nice. So LA Coliseum, this stadium is massive. If you guys remember back in the day, they raced on the side of the field in the LA Coliseum. They didn't even use the entire floor. This weekend, we're using the entire floor. We're gonna have some cool behind the scenes stuff coming on our YouTube channel Thursday, where we're gonna take a peek at the 2024 Yamaha YZ250F, so stay tuned for that video. Also, Kawasaki is going to show us their 2024 KX450. Those bikes are all new. And as media guys, Trevor Nelson and I, we are stressed out because we got new 250, new 450, plus a big weekend of riding and of covering the race this weekend. So we got lots on the table for motocross action. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the bell button to get notified when we release new videos, because we're going to have a lot coming out this weekend. Lots to keep up with. Thank you guys for watching this video. Let us know in the comments what you think about the Super Motocross Championship so far. It's exciting. We got 3 riders that can win: Joe Shimoda, Hunter Lawrence, Haiden Deegan in the 250 class, Ken Roczen, Jett Lawrence, Chase Sexton in the 450 class. Big money up for grabs. Like I said, $1 million in the 450 for the championship, $500,000 in the 250, and the 450 guys, they're getting paid well. All the way to the final guy, he's gonna earn, I believe, $30,000. I should have double checked, but high 20s at least for the 450 class. 250 class, they're not making as much. They're getting about $2 grand for last in the race and two grand for the championship, but still nice, they're getting something. Let us know in the comments if you're gonna be at the LA Coliseum. I know some people aren't making the trip to LA who even live in Temecula and live here local in Southern California, while I know others are traveling from far to come experience the historic race inside of the stadium. I've also heard rumors that they won't be racing in the stadium next year, so if you want to watch Supercross or Super Motocross in this stadium, now's your chance. All right, guys, thank you for sticking around. This Week in MXA presented by O'Neill Racing. Lots to do this weekend. See you at the track.